What an amazing lecture by Dr. Poonam. In fact, I feel like not even talking because she has pretty much given everything what I was going to talk. Beautiful lecture on management of anxiety. Just to introduce myself, I'm Suman, and as you see, that's what I belong to, Peacetree Innovation Society, a non-profit initiative to create awareness about mind-body health. And I'm a doctor, and as you may guess, I'm not actually a human doctor, I'm a veterinarian. And you might be wondering, what is an animal doctor doing here? Well, we can still learn a lot of things from animals, right? I mean, we'll actually take a look at that in the next slide, why I'm here today. So, why zebras don't get ulcers? This was an amazing research conducted by Dr. Robert Sapolsky from Stanford University. So what he did, he went to Africa and he spent a lot of time in the forest, African savannas, and he did research on baboons. And he tried to understand what is the difference between baboons and human beings in terms of stress. So his observations basically, zebras don't get ulcers because when they are stressed, they run for their life. But after that, when they are not in danger, they don't worry about the next lion, they just relax. But we humans are always on the run, always anticipating for the next thing, always worrying about the next moment and the next day and the next year and so on. So we live in a state of anticipatory stress. Stress is a good thing, but not when you keep living in this anticipation for days and weeks and months together, which he says, like wild animals, they are less susceptible to stress-related disorders like ulcers, hypertension, and they also decrease neurogenesis and increase neuronal atrophy. So the reasons are many, and if you go to the next slide. So we know there are so many causes for anxiety, depression, and many of the mental illnesses we see in the society. Apart from the causes which may be genetic, which may be environmental, as many of the doctors explained to us, there is also another thing, another power that we all need to look into. We have a power with us which made us evolve from amoeba, which is a small single-celled organism, to a caveman and into a high-tech spaceman today. So we evolved by using that power we have within ourselves. And with that power, we can do wonders. If we can do wonders in the external world, we can also do the same wonders with the internal world, which is our mind. And as Dr. Deepak Chopra, who is a pioneer of mind-body medicine, he says our body is the greatest pharmacy available in the world. Because our body has the ability to produce hormones, biochemicals. Even as I'm talking to you right now, there are so many processes going on. So our body and mind have that inherent nature to heal itself. But we have to find that inherent power. And that ability, that process of finding that inherent power is meditation. So, let's go a little, take a step back and look at this mental illness from scientific perspective, from the medical science perspective. So, being a veterinarian, I do a lot of studying and understanding and follow a lot of research happening in the medical science about mental illness. So there is one of the organs in the brain called cerebral cortex. So cerebral cortex is basically a neural tissue which is on the top of the brain. It's a layer over the brain. And its key role is in memory, attention, awareness, thought, language, and consciousness. Pretty much all of the day-to-day activities we do is controlled by that. If you go to the next slide, I'll show you an electron microscopic structure of cerebral cortex. Basically, this is what we are looking at, cerebral cortex. So if we go to the next slide, so there was a lot of research done, basically, to observe the changes in the brain during different kinds of mental illnesses, like schizophrenia, depression, ADHD, and again, I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg here. There has been a lot of research done to see what kind of changes are happening in all of these mental illness. And one common thing that was noticed in a lot of these illnesses is the cortex, the layer that we have just seen, immunity starts to thin down as the disease progresses. So, if you go to the next slide, we have some good news. So, a similar research has been done on meditation and its effects on brain. So, what they have noticed in many of those researchers done at Massachusetts General Hospital, and they have done some research in University of North Carolina, basically what they show is meditation actually increases the cortical thickness. So, if you see the first case, meditation is increase the cortical thickness. In the second case, also same thing, it increases the brain's gray matter density. And then there was another kind of meditation that was used called loving kindness meditation, which again helped people who were suffering from schizophrenia to recover from the negative symptoms. And then there was also a study done on anxiety and depression, where the patients have seen significant reduction in the symptoms of anxiety and depression. So, with this good news, I'll take you to the next slide, which is more about my personal journey and how I kind of got introduced into meditation. I came to Vancouver in 2006, and then I was myself, going through different phases of life. As we all go through, we have life-turning events, as Dr. Kollipara said, that can impact us. And I was going through similar life-changing events. At that time, I came across a person called Sunita, and she is a pioneer of Sukshma Yoga and meditation. And you might be wondering, what is the Sukshma Yoga and meditation? Well, it is a form of yoga, but what Sunita has done, because she has this pure ancient wisdom with which she was born, and she has evolved through that system and created this subtle system where she simplified the whole concept of yoga and meditation so that anyone can embrace it. It doesn't have complex moves and asanas and tough things which are difficult to do by children or elders. So this subtle system of meditation is called Sukshma meditation. And basically what it does is, it elevates the level of our consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness is how we connect with the world. So, in her meditation, in the process of meditation, your consciousness shifts from a lower state to higher state. Lower states of consciousness are associated with pain and suffering, and higher states of consciousness are associated with happiness, joy, and bliss, and peace. And just to give you a little perspective why it's called Sukshma meditation, according to ancient Indian wisdom, human form is classified into a gross body, which we all see, physical aspect, and there is a subtle aspect inside called Sukshma, and that Sukshma is nothing but our mind. So, the basic principle of Sukshma meditation is that our mind has tendencies to go into negative thinking. Like, we get angry, we get frustrated, we get jealousy. These are all negative things that impact all of us in day-to-day life. So these are called 6 vices of the mind. And in Sukshma meditation, you start to become more aware of these negative things, and you slowly start gaining control over those and then let them go, and then you start embracing more of the positive sides. So, Sunita also believes that we all are pure energy, we all are pure intelligence, we are all born with the pure potential, but because of environment, because of genetics, because of this or that, so many things that are impacting us, we start because of some of the life-turning events, we start to go to the negative side. So what Sukshma meditation does is, using the tools of purity, pure thinking, pure intention, creates that bliss in you, and eventually our potential comes out. So, how does the Sukshma healing work? Basically, in the last 5 years, I've spent a lot of time with Sunita and a lot of students who come to her, and I've seen a lot of people being cured from anxiety, depression, Crohn's, colitis, and many more disorders, especially lifestyle diseases. And what does Sukshma contain? Sukshma meditation has pretty much all aspects that we need for our day-to-day life. Physical, it has subtle exercises that stimulate our nerve centers, make us feel joyful, active, and then it has meditation, which helps to create that spaces in your thoughts. It helps you to calm down you, and then in that calming down, naturally our cells, our body tissues start to rejuvenate and revitalize. And then it also has an emotional aspect to it, where we start to become more aware of the emotions like anger, frustration, or any of these negative symptoms. And because now we are more in touch with ourselves, not distracted with outer external effects, we can make better choices of those emotions, more positive choices than negative. And then, of course, there is also the spiritual advantage and the realization that we are pure self, that there is something called pure inner self, and there is also something called ego self, with which we try to work most of the times. Ego self is what makes us judge, what makes us analyze things, what makes us to be a skeptic, what makes us to feel that this is mine and I'm, we feel attached to things. And the pure self is something which experiences pure joy, compassion, and bliss. So, Sukshma Yoga can help convert mental illness to mental wellness by creating that self-respect to yourself, to self-love with purity and bliss. So, I'm sure with conferences like this, where community involvement is there, we all can come together to embrace that pure intention, that same intention which allowed human being to evolve from Stone Age to the ultra-modern high-tech age. But we've got to be very careful what we are bringing with that change. We are bringing a lot of stress, anxiety, and a lot of other disorders into our life. And if we can embrace that pure intention that we want to again go back within and show the same power that we use to bring the external change and use the same power to bring that internal change, I think we will have some hope in bringing a positive change in the world we live in. And like I say, hope is a good thing, perhaps the best ever thing, and good things never die. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk. And I apologize, I could not speak in Punjabi because I can't speak Punjabi, so I tried to convey as much as possible in English. And I'm around if you have any questions. Thank you again. Meditation is a very, very amazing tool, but you make sure that you don't try it yourself. It is important you have a mentor or a person who can guide you through the meditation, because in meditation you will start going into your subconscious states. So there is a lot that goes on in our subconscious level. And if you have, if we all have anxiety or depression or all kinds of problems inside, so they can start percolating to the surface, and you can experience those symptoms in a probably bigger manner. So it is important that you make sure the teacher is knowledgeable, efficient, understanding, compassionate, you feel comfortable, and then start your meditations. So just a small advice from my experience. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Dr. Kollipara for coming out for the last minute. We thought meditation would be an important piece of his talk today. We actually asked him just yesterday to come over and get a great presentation ready for us. So thank you.